Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review in my journey through the horror films of the 1980s. And this time it is Silent Scream, a DVD I had gotten many years ago when I was trying to build up a slasher film collection. Because I knew one day I would want to do a marathon like this. Now, this cover is one of the worst covers ever. I guess this is maybe a dentist nightmare. Like, if a dentist has a nightmare, this is the visual it sees. Like, close your fucking mouth, don't show your teeth. Terror so sudden, there's no time to scream. That's a lie, because she's screaming in the picture. If there's no time to scream, why is she screaming in the picture? Is a scary, stylistic, grandeur horror movie. I don't think it's that, LA Times. At the end of the day, this film was meh. It's not really terrible to the fact that I'll be ranting on it. It's just, like I said, a big meh. Because the movie... What happened with the backstory, this film was shot by this guy named Denny Harris. And when he shot the film and finished it, it was, quote, unreleasable. And it's like, well, maybe you can try to fix a couple things, but it's still going to be a bad film, or just shelve it and don't release it at all. So then they got two people, Jim and Ken Wheat. These are guys who helped write Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Fly 2, even they're credited on Pitch Black. Reshoot a good chunk of the flick. They cast some actors that were not in the original cut, like Cameron Mitchell, Avery Schreiber as the two police detectives, Yvonne Carlo as Mrs. Ingalls. Yvonne Carlo, she was the vampire wife Lily in The Munsters. Her character was played by a different person in the original cut. Now, just want to show the back. The movie, it has this opening which I thought was, in retrospect, a mistake, because it does one of those openings that shows something that you will see at the end. So it kind of shows the end first, but it's supposed to be this mystery because the cops look over. It's like, what are they looking at? And then you find out at the end what they're looking at. I don't know why you started it off with that, but that's just my opinion, or my question, I should say. The two cops, Avery Schreiber, who has the mustache, and Cameron Mitchell, they did fine. I mean, really, they're useless in the scheme of things, because it's not like they stopped the killer. It's not like they really do anything. It's just there for running time's sake. So again, they don't really accomplish anything. So yeah, in essence, their characters are pointless, but I thought the two actors did fine in their roles. But the plot, you have this college student looking for a place to stay. And one thing leads to another, and she gets across a boarding house where you have this guy, Mason, this guy with glasses, and his mother, Mrs. Ingalls, Yvonne Carlo. They run this boarding house. There are three other people there. Another girl and two guys. The four decide to go out and have fun. The lead lady and this guy go off over here, while the other girl and the other guy, they go on the beach. Guy gets drunk on the beach, he passes out, he wakes up, and immediately gets stabbed repeatedly by a knife. Now, you come to find out that there is a killer, of course, who does live in the boarding house. And the movie, it's not a rant because it's only an hour and 20 some minutes, so it's not that long. The acting's not the problem. The cast do a fairly competent job. The lead lady, what's her name? Rebecca Balding. She does fine as the lead. She's not awful. She's not terrible. She's very competent, and again, she does fine. Cool to see Yvonne Carlo, because I remember her from the Munsters. There's some nice set decoration, or the one scene that sticks out is in the basement. There's this sort of hidden door, and you have these very narrow stairway, and the whole place is filled with cobwebs, and it's like a very thin, small stairway that goes up more and up over here, a little turn up over here. I'm always a sucker for that when you have like hidden rooms in a house. Maybe going back to The People Under the Stairs, which I love. But I thought that was a well shot sequence where you establish that, and then some figure is like poking holes through a wall and ultimately punches a hole through the wall, as if, oh, someone was living there and now they're escaping. Someone was living within this hidden part of the house. And the story isn't that bad. It's just not a lot happens, to be perfectly honest. I mean, if you're going into this for gore, you're not eating that. If you go into this for kills, there's really nothing much to say about that. I mean, other than the acting's fairly decent and the story isn't that bad. And that one little part of seeing the inside secrets of the boarding house, the secret little stairs, which later on the lead character, which actually, if you watch the trailer, is that scene where the lead character finds and walks up. If you watch the trailer, that's pretty much that whole scene. And then she gets pulled through the hole in the wall. That's really it, because all that happens is, after that is the lead and the guy have sex, and the other girl is listening while she's in the basement. She gets pulled and stabbed. You don't really see much of anything other than a little bit of blood. Then the lead finds that hidden little staircase, gets pulled in, and you find out that Yvonne Carlo and Mason, there's a third family member called Victoria. And this is when the story wasn't too bad, where they established that Victoria, at first Mason was told it's his sister, but really you come to find out that Victoria is really Mason's mother. And there's a flashback where Victoria tried to commit suicide. It didn't work. She gave birth. She was in the asylum. They had given her a lobotomy. It was botched. And Yvonne Carlo said, we're going to take care of her. And pretty much told the kid, that's your sister, not your mom. And ultimately does find out that it's not his sister, it is his mom. And so this Mason kid, he's a bit fucked up too. He finds out that his father wasn't really his father was his grandfather. So he takes his grandfather's things, dresses up, gets a gun, and tries to shoot Victoria. Yvonne Carlo and him get in a struggle. Accidentally shoots Yvonne Carlo. Shoots Victoria. Shoots himself. Victoria's not really dead. The boyfriend of the lead, he was knocked out before. He comes to, helps the lead lady. The lead lady pushes Victoria, where Victoria accidentally stabs herself in the stomach. Which even that was like, eh. Kind of would have preferred a more satisfying ending to the villain. I mean, it's a long way from Adrian King cutting Betsy Palmer's head off in Friday the 13th. And that's what I mean, like, you watch it, it's like, this is kind of... that kind of movie, like, it's not much to talk about. It did make me mad. You know, I'm watching going, okay. You know. Like I said, the actors are not bad. I like the two detectives, Cameron Mitchell and the other guy, and honestly would have probably rather have had the movie concentrate on them than the college students. And like I said, the death scenes aren't much. It's a very low body count, if you're into that. The death of the killer was not really that satisfying. And then the very end, it's the very beginning, where the cops come into the house, and what they were looking at is the couple who are now safe. I guess I'll give you that. It didn't pull a stupid ending, or a downbeat ending, or a twist, like, she's not really dead, sequel bait ending. It didn't do that. So, I mean, it's just... it's a meh time waster flick that, like I said, the acting's not bad, and the story, it's not a bad story when you find out what happened. I'm like, okay, that's kind of interesting. I think in the original version that was they reshot, the original version of this movie, you found out that Victoria and Mrs. Angles were the same person, because Victoria was a former actress, or she wanted to be an actress. So Mrs. Angles died long ago, and Victoria pretended to be her and put makeup on her, and then the Mason kid was a gay character in the original version, which, I mean, that, but not only gay, but very flamboyantly gay, like over-the-top gay, like, you know, limp-wristed. So, you know, maybe it was for the better that they reshot it to this. Overall, didn't love it, didn't hate it, it was there. That's the best way to put it. But that's the best you're going to get out of me, because there's not much I can say about it. Thanks for watching, take care, and stay tuned for more reviews. Later.